Good morning, Highlanders. Boom. What an amazing turnout. Please give yourselves a round of applause for being here today. It truly is great to see everyone here today. Not only did you register to attend this event on the original day, which was January 19th, when we had that big snowstorm, right? But after we had to reschedule to today, you're still here, you still showed up, which speaks volumes to your commitment to this type of university event. As of yesterday at 12 p.m., we had 222 Highlanders registered for today's MLK program and or service experience. So thank you for your support of this program, and most importantly, your engagement for such a momentous occasion. 222 Highlanders. I think that deserves a round of applause. We've had several donations come through from various offices, individuals, departments on campus. Truly speaks to our commitment to serving others, which is what we are here for as we remember Dr. King. For those who have not been able to meet, my name is David Jones, and I proudly serve as NJIT's Chief Diversity Officer. It is a pleasure to stand before you this morning and welcome you to NJIT's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day of Service University program, where we come together to not only celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King, but also commit ourselves to being of service to others. The theme for our program today is grounded in one of Dr. King's quotes, where he says, "Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve." As we engage in today's program, listen to remarks from our distinguished speakers and guests, and actively participate in service with one another, let us also challenge ourselves and one another to think about the ways we can carry out our commitment to service, not just today, but beyond today, through our acts of kindness right here on our campus. This can foster love, unity, and a greater appreciation for one another and what we each bring to NJIT. Kindness, love, and unity, all principles that Dr. King espoused as a leader and as an agent for radical systemic change. Dr. King also once said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. As a Highlander community, we must collectively understand that we cannot be silent about things that matter, such as being of service to others, speaking out and against all forms of oppression and injustice, and being advocates towards creating a more inclusive community. Dr. King's life was one that evoked radical thought and a steadfast commitment to eradicating all forms of injustice. Dr. King used his platform and voice to speak out against issues such as racism, voting rights, poverty, social economic equality. Many of you may or may not know this, but Dr. King's commitment to creating a more socially just world was felt right here in our beautiful city of Newark, New Jersey. Just 8 days before his assassination, before he was assassinated, he spoke at Malcolm X Shabazz High School, formerly Southside High School. He visited Mount Calvary Baptist Church, and he walked the streets of our great city. So my friends, his legacy is right here in our community, which makes our responsibility to serve, our responsibility to justice and liberty for everyone that much greater. We all must have a responsibility to exude hope and peace within our beloved NJIT community. Let us magnify this connection to Dr. King and his life and legacy through our deeds and our service to others. Before I move our program along and invite our esteemed university president and provost to the podium, I want to take this moment to acknowledge the faculty and staff on the MLK committee who have worked collaboratively with one another in partnership with offices such as the Office of Inclusive Excellence, the Office of Government and Community Relations, and Career Development Services, Community and Public Service, to make today possible. To the MLK committee who's here in attendance, please stand and be recognized. Please give them a round of applause. I also want to acknowledge someone who will you hear from shortly. My colleague, who I have a pleasure of serving on the President's Cabinet with, Dr. Angela Garrison, our Chief Government and Community Relations Officer. Dr. Garrison's co-leadership on this initiative has truly helped make today a success. Her vision, but also her direct relationships to the city of Newark and across the state were critical to this effort, and you will see that manifested throughout today's program. Thank you, Dr. Garrison. Lastly, I would like all of you to join me in giving a very, very, very warm welcome to NJIT's newest Highlander, the new director of the Office of Inclusive Excellence, Dr. Jonathan Wesley. Dr. Jonathan Wesley. Dr. Wesley joined NJIT almost 48 hours ago and has already hit the ground running with supporting today's program. As a truly collaborative community, let us stay grounded in today's theme. Everyone can be great because everyone can serve. It is at this time that I invite and welcome to the podium someone who leads with a collaborative, inclusive lens, 9th President of NJIT, President Tech Lim.
Thank you, David. Thank you for the opportunity. For those of you who are just arriving, there are some really great seats here. I want you to be comfortable because I have a 10-page speech and you want to be seated for that. But if you want to remain standing, that's good also. So I am truly honored to stand before all of you today as we gather here to commemorate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on this very special day of service or make-up day of service. It is with immense pride and gratitude that we come together as a community to celebrate the ideals of equality, justice, and service that Dr. King championed throughout his life. So, as we reflect on the remarkable contribution of Dr. King, we are reminded of the powerful impact one individual can have on the course of history. How many of you watched the movie Mulan? You're wondering why Mulan has to do with Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. We watched that. There was a part of the movie where the emperor shows weighing machines, and it's got a weight on one end and rice on the other end, and it's equally balanced. With just one grain of rice on one end, the machine tilt, or the weighing machine tilt, and tumbled everything else. He was trying to make a point. One grain of rice probably doesn't matter a whole lot, and then that one grain of rice changed the whole thing, right? So this is what Dr. Martin Luther King believed. One individual can change the course of history. Dr. King's tireless efforts in the struggle for equality for all have left an indelible mark on our nation's conscience. His inspiring words, unwavering commitments to justice continue to resonate with us, serving as a beacon of hope and a call to action. I'm not born in this country. You can hear from my accent. But Dr. Martin Luther King, what he did, really make an impact in my belief, in my life, and make a difference. And in fact, I think allow me to be in this country, to be able to flourish and have a wonderful life. I was just in Alabama with some of our cabinet members and staff. Alabama. I used to live in Alabama. By the way, if you have not met your First Lady, Gina Lim, she's here with you today. Gina and I, hi, honey, wave to everyone else. Gina and I used to live in Alabama for 4 years when I taught at the University of Alabama. And so I was just in Alabama recently. We haven't been back for more than 20 years. So it's homecoming for us. Walking through, we were in Montgomery, walking through Rosa Parks Museum. and then visit the Legacy Museum to talk about lynching, where I saw firsthand the impact of Dr. King's advocacy. Phenomenal. It was so moving. I know my provost and partner in crime here he was there. He'll give a deeper reflection of what he thinks about that visit to Montgomery. I want to move back to my regularly scheduled speech here. Today, we not only honor Dr. King's legacy, but also reaffirm our commitment to building a more just and inclusive society for all, a more just and inclusive society for all. The theme of the service is particularly fitting as we gather to commemorate this day. Dr. King once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are we doing for others? What are we doing for others? This question challenges us to look beyond ourselves and consider how we can contribute to the well-being of our communities and society at large. I believe that helping others succeed helps you to succeed as well. I believe Dr. Martin Luther King agreed with that. The day of service provides us with an opportunity to answer that question by actively engaging in acts of kindness, compassion, and generosity. I talk a lot about power skills. Our students here, how many of you are students here? Good, okay. So our students here, you're here to earn the degree and leave this place as the best version of yourself. And the way to do that, okay, is to acquire power skills, what people used to call soft skills, ability to communicate, to work in teams. But the most important power skills in my mind is empathy. Empathy. So the act of kindness, compassion, and generosity spills out of having this power skills of having empathy. As we embark on the various service projects today, let us remember that our collective efforts have the power to make a positive impact on the lives of others. Even small act of service contributes to the larger tapestry of positive change that Dr. King envisioned. If you think back your own life so far, think back moment, okay, where somebody did something so minuscule, but impact your life significantly. I'm sure every one of us can think of that moment. Here at NJIT, we take great pride in our diverse and vibrant community. I believe this is one of the most diverse and vibrant community in the nation. And I've been to many places. I've lived in Ohio, Michigan, Missouri, Alabama, Texas right before this. When I was in Texas, we say, what are the most diverse campuses? Not really. This is a much more diverse campuses. We just recently became a minority serving institution because of our designation as the Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution. We're basically a Hispanic serving institution. We graduate more than 60% of underrepresented minority engineers that earn a degree from a public institution in New Jersey. So we're one of the top producer of talent, okay, from all the underrepresented group in the country, one of the top. So our commitment to fostering an inclusive and equitable environment aligns with Dr. King's vision for a society where individuals, and you know this, are judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. I think you know this, okay? All our DNA is basically the same. There's not much difference. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all the organizers, volunteers, and participants who have dedicated their time and energy to make this day of service possible and special. David Jones, Angela Garrison, and the whole team that make this day possible. Thank you very much. Your commitment to creating positive change is truly commendable. And I am confident that our collective efforts will leave a lasting impact on our community. So may we be inspired by Dr. King's examples to continue working towards a more just, equitable, and compassionate world. Let's all have empathy. Thank you for being part of this celebration, and let us strive to make every day a day of service. Every day a day of a service. Thank you. Go Highlanders!
Thank you, President Lim. Truly appreciate your kind words and your reflection on today's event. It is at this time I would like to invite to the podium our Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, John Palesko. As Provost Palesko makes his way to the podium, I do want to acknowledge his partnership in helping to engage faculty and academic community in this MLK program and service experience, where he encouraged faculty and our academic deans to integrate this program into their courses and classroom experience. Once again, a demonstration of collaboration and inclusive leadership. So thank you for that. Please, without further ado, help me welcome Dr. Palesko.
Thank you, David. And let me begin actually by saying thank you to David Jones and to Angela Garrettson for the incredible work they've done in organizing today's Day of Service in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Organizing an event like this one requires an extraordinary amount of time and effort, and I know how many hours that David and Angela put into this on behalf of the entire university community. So let's give David and Angela a huge round of applause. Where's Angela? Where's Angela? Stand there. There she is back there. Thank you again, both of you. So as you heard from President Lim, last week, David, Angela, Mary Beth, myself, and a group of 5 others from NJIT had the opportunity to travel to Alabama at the invitation of Norma Clayton. Now, Norma's a member of the NJIT Board of Trustees. And we spent a day visiting Tuskegee University and a second day in Montgomery, Alabama, visiting the Rosa Parks Museum and the Legacy Museum. Now, we began that tour in Montgomery by first touring the Rosa Parks Museum. And I'll say that visit gave me a profoundly deeper appreciation for the courage of Rosa Parks, for the courage and determination of thousands of people who participated in the Montgomery bus boycott, and especially for the courage and work of Dr. King and his absolutely remarkable commitment to change by peaceful means. After that, we then visited the Legacy Museum. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Legacy Museum, this museum captures 400 years of American history, from slavery to racial terrorism to legalized segregation and discrimination, and to our current plight of mass incarceration. Visiting the Legacy Museum with the group gave me a deeper understanding of the fact that the Black experience in America has all too often been anything but peaceful, which makes the work of Dr. King and so many others all the more remarkable. Now, from the Legacy Museum, we took a short bus ride and we visited the National Memorial for Peace and Justice. This is an amazing and powerful memorial that's dedicated to the legacy of more than 4,400 Black Americans who were killed in racial terror lynchings between 1877 and 1950. And when you walk through this memorial, you see name after name engraved on large steel monuments, one for each county in the United States where a lynching took place. I think you can appreciate the power of this memorial when I tell you that this walk spans more than 6 acres of ground. But what stuck with me the most was when I saw the plaque that talked about Price's Corner, Delaware. Now, Price's Corner is just a few miles from the home that I own in the area from where I worked at my former institution. It's a spot that I drove by hundreds of times. There's a shopping plaza there now with a Target and a Staples, and I've shopped there hundreds of times. But not once did I realize the horrific events that had taken place on that spot. And when I saw that particular plaque at the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, it made me realize how closely connected we all are to the events of the past 400 years. And it made me realize that these events were neither long ago nor far away. Now, I also mentioned that we visited Tuskegee University. And while there, we visited the Tuskegee University Museum. One of the things that this museum houses is a set of beautiful dioramas, many of which were made to celebrate African-American achievements after the end of slavery. And when I looked on the wall adjacent to these dioramas, I was struck to see pictures of two people that I know and know quite well, Joyce Hillstoner and Brian Beatty. Now, Joyce and Brian are former colleagues of mine. Both of them are art conservators and art historians, and they worked on the preservation of these dioramas. And once again, I was struck by how closely connected we all are to the events of the past 400 years. And once again, I was reminded that these events were neither long ago nor far away. But this time, I also realized that these connections, these things that bind us all together, can be incredibly positive, and that those types of connections come about because of our commitment to acts of service and the ways that we all work to create a more just and peaceful society. And when I thought about that, I felt proud. Proud that I'm part of a community here at NJIT that holds a day of service like this one. Proud that I'm part of a community here at NJIT that works to make these positive connections between us, the past, and the future. Thank you to everyone who's made this day possible and to everyone that's volunteered to participate. The service that an immediate impact on people's lives, and that's important and that's a wonderful thing. But also remember and take a moment to reflect on the fact that the service you undertake today also creates those positive, lasting connections between all of us and our past and our future. And that it's days like today that make our community truly special. Thank you for being part of this day. And as President Lim said, let's work together to make every day a day of service and connection. Thank you.
Please join me in giving another round of applause to our provost and our president. I've worked in higher education for almost 20 years, and I think it's truly remarkable when you have leadership that are able to come to a podium and espouse some of the reflective thoughts and ideologies and principles that the both of you have demonstrated. So thank you for that, and thank you for your leadership. And so we have some distinguished guests with us today that are going to be greeting us and providing us with some remarks. One of them is joining us virtually, and I'm going to introduce him to us now as he joins us in a virtual capacity. Joe Forte. Joe Forte is a seasoned state government professional with over a decade of experience in senior leadership roles. Currently, he serves as a Deputy Chief of Staff and Chief Diversity Officer at the New Jersey Department of State. In this capacity, he leads the Communications Team, Business Action Center, and the Cultural Trust, overseeing a wide range of initiatives and programs. With the focus of diversity and inclusion, Joe has contributed to equal opportunity affirmative action, ethics, and diversity efforts at the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development and New Jersey Civil Service Commission. He holds a Master of Public Administration and a certificate in Strategic Communications from Rutgers University, as well as a Master's of Science in International Affairs from Northeastern University. He has completed certificates in diversity and inclusion from Cornell University and is currently pursuing a certificate in human resource management from Drexel University. Throughout his career, Joe has been recognized for his leadership and service, receiving awards such as the Community Advocate Award with the NJ Pride Chamber of Commerce, the Pride Network Awardee in Leadership and Service, Business Equality Magazine's 40 Under 40, and the New Jersey Governor's Statewide Employee Recognition Award. He has actively participated in federal, state, and local political campaigns and served in various community organizations, contributing to the advancement of LGBTQ+ rights and diversity initiatives. In 2020, Joe was chair of New Jersey's Presidential Day of Service event and co-chair of the LGBTQ for Biden, New Jersey. In his free time, Joe is passionate about disability policy, hiking, and travel. Without further ado, that I welcome Joe Forte.
Today, and I want to give special thanks with Dr. Ben and Provost Dr. Harrison. Thank you so much for coming today. So as Dr. Jones mentioned, I'm the report, Deputy Chief of Staff and Chief Diversity Officer, representing the Governor Way. We want to big thank you to NJIT for having me as your community speaker today. As a person that I'm paid in service, I have been, staying on top. Before I do that, I want to give a little highlight of what the research from the state is, for those of you that are familiar with it. The information from the state, we oversee the through the elections, we have the art council, tourism, the action center, and in it, we actually, both, New Jersey, for those of you that are familiar with the commission, it was established, commission in the nation. It's been operating for nearly 40 years. Its mission is to collaborate, on life and legacy of Dr. King and Muslim Movement. Each year, we have central programs and events that take place. And the commission conducts scholarships, which awards 10 scholarships, $5,000 each to college students and to graduate students that are interested in writing essays and making doctorate. For those of you that are interested in being part of the commission, feel free to reach out to me and I'm happy to connect to the pro who are executive director. Now going back to my speech, today I want to talk about saying our work, whether it's in government or state, it's not easy. It requires teamwork, a desire to keep learning, and the willingness to be kind to ourselves and always along the way. Challenges and roadblocks are our journey and pursue our dreams. It's important to respect our journey from support, mentor, and coach. Many of you as students will face challenges on the way, but finding your strength and the need to keep going. I've worked over 10 years in state government and after getting an internship, I've been working my way up into state government and where I'm today, where I focus on diversity and inclusion initiatives that make sure that our employees and services that we provide reflect the diversity of our great state. It's important on your way to be thankful for family members and mentors. But keep up full our resolve, think about and work towards that. My motivation of the service comes from caring for family members, ability, and the LGBTQ. Starting a career government has challenges, understanding, for example, the chain of command and daily tasks. But forming partnerships and learning to move that balance will allow you to move forward. And most importantly, make sure you future reporting for impact. I like to embrace your job and recognize your value in mutual voice. Stay motivated and committed, and stay on your path to create a more inclusive future. Thank you, the NJIT community, for the opportunity and may the journey for hope, inspiration, and success. And in pursuit of making a difference, always remember, no matter how difficult, make sure you stay in power. Your dedication and unwavering journey for the peace and create a better and more inclusive future. It's not always easy, but know that you may be filled with hope, inspiration, and mutual paths. Again, thank you so much for having me, and I wish you best of luck with your work today. Thank you.
Let's please give it another round of applause to Joe Ford. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Angela Garretson to the podium. Dr. Garretson has really been truly instrumental to making today possible. Through her leadership and her vision, we've been able to evoke Dr. King's life and legacy in a very transformative way. And so at this time, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Garretson, who will introduce our next speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a blessed day to be able to continue to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Before I give my comments, I would like to be able to bring greetings forth from our city councilman, Councilman C. Lawrence Crump, Councilman Crump was sworn in as an at-large council member in August 2021. He was extremely honored to fill the position vacated by one of the giants in the city of Newark, his mother, who we all like to call Mama Crump, Council President Mildred Crump. She dedicated her life to serving the residents of our great city. On May 10th, 2022, Councilman Crump was elected to a 4-year term by the residents of Newark and was sworn in on July 1st. And actually, Tech Lim and I, our president, was able to actually be present at that particular swearing in. Our councilman is also the general counsel and director of the development for the Newark Parking Authority. In this position, Councilman Crump provides all necessary expert legal services for the Parking Authority, including working closely with the executive director on the construction of a $35 million mixed-use parking facility. Councilman Crump formerly served as the legislative director for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for the city of Newark. In this capacity, Councilman Crump worked on every piece of legislation and other legal documents. In furtherance of the city of Newark's overall economic development strategy, he previously worked as the first assistant corporation counsel for the city of Newark's law department and as chief of staff to the city of Newark's council president. In this capacity, he provided advice and counsel to the councilwoman, acted as a liaison between the councilwoman and all the department directors, including the mayor's chief of staff, business administrator, corporation counsel, and director of economic development. He managed all office activities and staff members and reviewed and drafted legislation before the city council. Prior to being chief of staff, Mr. Crump was also counsel at Cooper, Levenstein, April, Needleman, and Wagerham, PA, what a mouthful, from August 2006 through February 2011, where he managed their Newark office. There, he demonstrated his expertise in real estate and land use by representing a variety of clients, individuals, investors, not-for-profit, for-profit, developers, and government agencies. I'm going to let our councilman, who needs no introduction, that is probably just as phenomenal as this, to please shed some light and bring greetings on behalf of the city of Newark. Please join me in welcoming our councilman. Thank you.
I actually think that's the first time somebody read my full bio, and I just got tired hearing all of that. That's probably why I can't grow hair. I think that's the reason at this point. Let me say first, thank you for being here, all of you, and specifically thank you, Dr. Lim, Dr. Garrettson, Dr. Jones, all the other doctors that are here, that are speaking. I feel honored to be at the podium. I mean, I'm a Juris Doctor. I hope that's close enough. Seriously though, it is a pleasure to be here and to speak briefly. Let me first greet you on behalf of my great mayor, Mayor Raz J. Baraka, our great council president, LaMonica MacGyver, our council members, and our 311,000 residents of the city of Newark. It is important for us to have opportunities like this to speak, to share the history of Dr. King. I happen to be a Morehouse man, and I happen to be a brother of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So I have two things that I grasp on that Dr. King also shared. So it is always a pleasure to speak on programs like this, and also to even be involved in these kind of programs. I want to say congratulations to Dr. Jones on his awarding last year of being one of the top 15 chiefs of the diversity. I think that's an important accomplishment. I think it does deserve a round of applause. And I think it speaks towards what NJIT is doing. You know, today we're living in a world where we're being attacked left and right in terms of diversity and about inclusion. And for NJIT to continue to push that is great. And I want to congratulate you all for doing that. I think what's important to us is that we need to keep on pushing the diversity. We need to understand that diversity makes us stronger as a school, as a city, as a state, as a nation. And that we continue to push that dialogue so that all understand. And, you know, what I wanted to say something, but I think all four of the speakers before me said it, so I won't repeat it, but I just want to say, and just so it's funny that you had, the speaker that you had was talked about the MLK commission. My mother actually chaired that commission years ago when Regina Thomas was the Secretary of State. So they've done a lot of great work over the years, and I'm happy that it was mentioned today and they continue to do so today. But let me also just say that, you know, although today is your day of service, every day should be your day of service. It shouldn't be one day. It should be all day. You know, there's a quote that has been revised and said many, many times in different ways, but you know, service to others is the rent that we pay for our room here on earth. And I truly believe that and live that in my heart. And I hope that all those here understand that, you know, as a legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that we do service for others and continue to do service for others. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy your service today, and I hope you continue to do so in the future. Thank you.
Next, we are, the NJIT MLK Committee is very proud to support a student orator today from Newark Public Schools. He will share his vision for carrying forth Dr. King's dream. We are connected in this struggle. Just as Newark Public Schools is connected to NJIT, they are connected to us through our partnerships with science, technology, and none other than Malcolm X Shabazz High School. But today, we are very, very proud to be able to join me again in welcoming Usman Ba to deliver his comments. And is this?
Good afternoon to the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity and guests. It is an honor to stand before you today as a finalist for the 26th annual Oratorical Contest. I came before you today to invoke a message that inspires us to continue to carry out the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In Dr. King's last speech before he was assassinated, in his speech, he said, "But it doesn't really matter to me now because I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as people will get to the promised land." So I ask you, have we made it to the promised land Dr. King said almost 56 years ago? In 2024, have we made it to the promised land where everyone of any background would not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has been to the mountaintop. From the top of the mountain, he said he saw the promised land. Are we living in that promised land Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saw? Or are we still trying to get there? Or are we still trying to get there? People all around the world are fighting for change, change that will grant them the comfort and the dignity they deserve. Wars, poverty, and basic human rights are still not afforded to every human being born on this planet. Only the select few, or those born of a lighter skin color, are treated as if they are worth something more than gold. Their children live a life where they are not fearful of the blaring sounds of sirens driving behind them on a darkened street after leaving a friend's house or going to the corner store for a snack to eat. Their children are able to walk into a department store with friends, laughing and joking together without being followed through that store and or told to leave. This is where we are today. I'm not sure this is what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saw because he often spoke about equality and human rights for all. And I'm not sure we're there yet. This needs to be changed to fit Dr. King's vision because if we don't, well, he said it could be bad for all of us. If something isn't done and in a hurry to bring the colored peoples of the world out of their long years of poverty, their long years of hurt and neglect, the whole world is doomed. Those were Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words. So I ask you again, are we living in that promised land Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saw from the mountaintop? Or are we still trying to get there? I believe Dr. King would also ask himself that question if he were to walk the streets of our cities today. He would want to know if we would just let his work die. People are not loving one another as Dr. King had hoped for. Many people still judge one another by their skin color instead of the content of their character. Every day, through all walks of life, people of color, black and brown alike, are judged by how they look instead of how they act or what they can contribute to society. Some whites still view blacks as lowlifes who are meaningless, while others view them as equals and people who deserve justice and equal rights. I don't think we will ever reach that promised land if we never get on the same page. Dr. King told us to make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to the noble struggle for equal rights. You will make a better person of yourself, a finer nation of a country, and a better world to live in. And that is what I mean by getting on the same page. We as human beings, not just black and brown people, but all people need to commit to making this world a better place without hatred, war, or harm. In spite of temporary victories, violence never brings permanent peace. Dr. King was looking for everlasting peace on this earth, the peace of the promised land which he saw from the mountaintop. He protested in love, and all that followed him understood that violence was not the road to the promised land. He believed in his work and the good nature of all people. He was hopeful and confident that people would reach deep within themselves to bring forth a better tomorrow for all God's people. Then and only then will we reach that promised land. Thank you for your time.
I'll ask David to join. Do you want to come back? Use the microphone? Well, I just was gonna read something quick, okay, and then I just have some.
Let's give it up for that young scholar right there. And also to his father who's with him as well. Please, congratulations on your. So for background, Usman is a middle school student here in Newark, New Jersey. And a couple of weeks ago, he had the pleasure of participating in the 26th annual MLK Student Oratorical Contest hosted by the Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated here in Newark, New Jersey, which Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a member of. And so Usman was one of the finalists to compete in the program. And after hearing his speech and after coaching him over the last 6 weeks or so, I said it would be great to bring his brilliance right here to NJIT. So I'm so glad you were here to join us. And just a few short years before we see you on this stage as a Highlander. So once again, want to give a resounding applause for everyone for their comments and their commitment and contributions to today's program. Thank you again. Is at this time we're going to move into our lunch period, our community lunch, and we will also be displaying a video, Black Moses Rising: The Making of Harriet Tubman's Monument in Newark. And I'm going to invite Dr. Garrison back to the podium. Okay, we can just go. Okay. We'll just move into lunch. So what we will do is we will have the video on display as we get our lunch and come back to our seats. Please take the time to learn the history of the making of the Harriet Tubman Monument here in Newark, which is really aligned, right, to Dr. King. I always talk about pioneers, right? People that came before us. And so Harriet Tubman and her bravery and her commitment to liberation and abolishing slavery created a pathway for people like Dr. King to do the amazing work that he did as a civil rights leader. And so we honor Harriet Tubman here in the city of Newark, and we pay homage to what she did to create the opportunities that Dr. King forged, which has allowed us to be in community with each other today. So it's all a snowball effect on how we can contribute to society. And so we will have our lunch, we will view the video. Also at your tables is some community engagement prompts if you wish to engage with your table around some prompts around Dr. King. And then we will move into our service experience following our lunch. And so I'm gonna call 1 o'clock. Okay, so 1 o'clock, we will move into beginning to introduce the service experience that Dr. Vivian Lanzo will help walk us through. Okay, so at this time, please go ahead and grab your lunch, and then our media and technology support services will get us going with the video.
There is nothing to be gained from hiding from our history. There is nothing patriotic in looking away from our nation's original sin. It is only through facing the truth together that we can find a way forward.
3, 2, 1.
We are here to celebrate the unveiling of the Harriet Tubman Monument, Shadow of a Face, which honors Harriet Tubman's life and work as a freedom fighter, and also Newark's place in that fight for freedom and liberation.
It's important that we spotlight those perspectives and stories of African American and indigenous people that still remain untold. Many of the Underground Railroad stations resided in New Jersey, and at least one was here in Newark.
What we are doing today is not erasing history, but completing it. We are not demeaning other people's stories, we're telling our own. Today is our day. It's about us on the outskirts of freedom with a rock and a slingshot. Our journey in a promised land with nothing but faith in the North Star. It's about backwoods prayer meetings and songs that hid our scent from dogs on the hunt. It is our day, this moment, this monument is about us. That in our story, Moses is a black woman, ragged, clothes with a Bible and a shotgun. She parted our Red Sea for us and marched through terror and hatred, and as herself, a real person, not fiction or some make-believe Marvel superhero. She went and got us over and over and over again.
This monument will spark appreciation for a woman who defined courage and a humble, powerful radicalism based in the fundamental ideals of love. It should inspire all of us to action. It should inspire all of us to love our country, not through what we say, but through what we do. The children of today know they stand on the shoulders of giants like Harriet Tubman.
It's the right place and time to commemorate the amazing achievement of a Black woman. My name is Nina Cook-John, and I'm the artist who designed the Harriet Tubman Monument in Newark. The duality that I really was hoping would come through in the design was this idea of Harriet Tubman, this larger-than-life figure, as well as Harriet Tubman, the woman, someone who we could connect to at a personal level. I had some initial ideas about who Harriet Tubman was, but in doing further research, there was this one line, a quote of hers, where she mentions that once she made it to safety, she was free. She realized that there wasn't any true happiness for her without her family. And it was because of that need for connection to the people that she knew and loved that she decided to go back. I truly believe that public space is where we connect to each other. So it was important to me that the Newark community felt that this monument was their monument. one of the end panels. So you can see the engraved in this piece of wood. They cover it with this aluminum sheeting here to protect the wood so it doesn't completely shatter when they are getting the text in it. There's also going to be audio going on the outside, so they also have perforations in the wood. Ariel would send me photos or videos, and to see it come to life, it's like, oh my God, you know, be still my heart, it's coming together. I think I'm gonna cry.
We connected with various institutions and community organizations and groups throughout the city of Newark, and we had community members answer questions like, what is your liberation story? What is something that you struggled with and overcome? Who is Harriet Tubman to you? And we had the community answer those questions in visual or written form on mosaic tiles. My name is Adebumi Badebo, and I am the community apprentice for the Harriet Tubman Monument Project. Nina created a process that really welcomed everyone into not only the conversation and the ideation, but the physical, the actual making of this monument. So everyone played a role, and I think it really spoke to Harriet Tubman's legacy.
Frederick Douglass said, what does the 4th of July mean to a slave? It's mere bombast, just arrogance even, to talk about justice and freedom when there are millions of people that are enslaved in this country. That contradiction pushed America to become more egalitarian. Nobody's existence here would be the same without the work that Harriet Tubman did in the Underground Railroad, and particularly for Black people, because our journey, our history is very specific, very peculiar and different than all other Americans that are here. We're the only people that were made human beings by act of court. And we thought it was important to highlight that history for folks who didn't know it. And so Harriet Tubman became a symbol of that for us. Right after George Floyd murder, there are a lot of people who are protesting and angry.
Protesters across America are tearing down and damaging memorials that they say honors racist figures.
We need to take that energy and build the world we want to see.
We participated in the creation of the monument in different ways. One of the main aspects was really the creation of these tiles, these personal liberation stories that Newark residents have created in the past year. Another aspect was in organizing a number of events that would really celebrate the legacy of Harriet Tubman.
And I'm free beyond my grave.
Museums are not neutral. You know, the artists are telling stories that people want to hear, and it is our job to present these stories and to help move forward.
Knowing that locals participated in creating this monument, it reminds us of what we stand for and where we can go.
I did 2 designs actually. I did the North Star and a love symbol in the middle, and then one of the safe houses. We have to work hard, get opinions from other people so that we can all come together.
To make an impact, you have to take a risk. Harriet Tubman led so many routes to and from without any injuries, right? I think that she took awesome risks. To see your work a part of a larger project is a great feeling. If more of our students see people that look like them, then they really feel valued, right?
It sits 25 feet high, and so you can see it from all across the park. And then in rings that radiate out from the central section, there is what we call the learning wall. So this becomes an arc that has on one side the stories of people who are part of the Newark's liberation movement, and on the outer surface, there's the timeline of Harriet Tubman's life. So you are encouraged to walk out in one area to get one part of the story, Harriet Tubman's story, and then you're encouraged to walk along the same surface on the inner side to learn the larger story. Another major item is the wall that we call the portrait wall, which is a wall that holds a larger-than-life portrait of Harriet Tubman. On one side is her face, and on the other side of that wall is the mosaic of tiles of people who left their stories at the community workshops. Connecting all of those pieces is what I'm calling Harriet Tubman's cloak, which is a trellis that extends from the central figure of Harriet Tubman out across from the learning wall. And the overall experience is this kind of labyrinthine walk in and around and through the monument.
And so it becomes both an educational opportunity and an inspirational opportunity. Harriet Tubman in her teens, as an enslaved person, as a woman, as a girl in the Deep South, fought for her rights. She served during the Civil War as a nurse and a scout and a spy. She worked for the government, and never was she fully paid. So this is a person who helped free 70 enslaved people, who fought for this country, nursed soldiers in fields, served as a scout, and helped to free enslaved people on a mission. In her last years, she had a home for people who didn't have a home. When we think of resiliency and we think of commitment, how many heroes can we count that have a history like this? Harriet Tubman was not the only person doing this. There were thousands, if not more, African Americans across the country who were standing up to the violence that was a part of slavery. What this monument does is show you the long history of Black liberation in Newark. And no, it does not start in the 1960s. It starts way before.
The Tubman Square Park is our front yard. And so we saw this as a tremendous opportunity to really plug in and demonstrate how we're really making direct investments in the community. And we found no better way to do that than to really leverage our studios and tell the story in a fully immersive audio way.
Not long after Harriet Tubman escaped her life as an enslaved woman in Maryland, she traveled from Philadelphia, a stronghold of the American abolition movement.
Representation matters, these stories matter, and I think that the timing is right. Quite frankly, the timing's probably overdue.
I learned so much doing this. I'm truly inspired by Harriet Tubman when I go about my work daily, because this work never ends. And the work of changing the world never ends. The work of Black women never ends.
This indeed is an incredible day. This is the culmination of hundreds of years of history. Our ancestors are looking down at us today. They are smiling and they are saying thank you for carrying this forward. Today, we are honoring General Tubman, Araminta Ross, AKA Minty, AKA Harriet Tubman, AKA Moses of her people, a true advocate for freedom.
Harriet Tubman, known as a conductor of the Underground Railroad, was honored with a new monument in a city square now bearing her name.
Really means a lot to come outside of my home and like see her here, you know what I mean?
The Harriet Tubman Monument is probably one of the first monuments that was created after all of the statues went down. We don't believe that anything can be done in the city without art and culture involved in it. This is a part of a larger art and culture district. that we are in the process of creating in this area. I just believe that 100,000 artists can make a city safer than 100,000 cops.
It's amazing watching it go up, and I can't wait for Newarkers to be able to experience it and take it in.
Monuments, parks, other recreational spaces, they're seen as the public good because they enrich the souls of the people. I hope that she becomes an entryway for people to learn about the stories of African Americans who lived on these streets right around the monument.
Artists have the power to inspire, to imagine a different reality, and it's really gonna take that same process for us to move forward and really start to dismantle some of these legacies of slavery. She was a Black woman, but I think her legacy and her impact, we all benefit from it.
Thank you to those of you who believed in my vision for reimagining what a monument could be like. What a monument could look like, feel like, and sound like. How a monument could be a living space, connecting the stories of the past to the stories of today. This commission has meant a lot to me as an artist, as an architect, as a woman, and as a mother of Black girls. This is not a legend. It is about a legacy. Shadow of a Face is dedicated to the women of Newark. I see you. You know who you are. You might not all be in this room today, but I see you.
Good afternoon. Welcome back, Highlanders. Okay, we hope you have enjoyed the program so far. For those that are showing up now and partaking in the service activity, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this program and this MLK Day of Service experience. So we have all had a chance to reflect, hear from some wonderful speakers, have some good lunch and be in community with each other. And now I'm going to invite my colleagues to the podium to introduce to you the MLK Day of Service experience and what that will look like and your role in it. And so first, I will invite back to the podium Dr. Angela Garrison.
Some more energy in here. I need a little clap it up or something. Come on, volunteer, MLK month. This is not just a day. I'm just so pleased to be able to continue to join in fellowship with all the good people, all our good Highlanders at NJIT. Today, we invite you to continue to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King and join one of our NJIT service teams, Liberty, Hope, Justice, Peace, and Beloved. You may be asking, well, what do those different teams mean? That's going to come in just a minute. But for the moment, I want all of us Highlanders at NJIT who have embraced ideals of liberty, hope, justice, peace, and a beloved community for us to really understand that this is about coming together and leveraging community engagement. So on behalf of the Office of Government and Community Relations, which I head up, I'm just so pleased to be able to collaborate with the Office of Inclusive Excellence, and I would be remiss if I did not say my partner in this project, or really the leader of this project, Dr. David Jones. Thank you so much for all that you've done to make this project a success so far. A little bit louder. Come on now, y'all know I need a little bit more energy up in here because we're about to get to work. So with that being said, I mentioned that we will have these teams as a community. Team Liberty represents our commitment to academic freedom and the liberty of ideas. So that team is going to be working with going out into the community. We have 2 activities today, volunteer service activities that will be in the community. That is one of them. The second, Team Hope, captures our optimism for the future and the belief in progress through education. I'll be heading that one up, and where you see all the numbers laid out, I need my Team Hope team to please assemble in that area where we will be organizing all of the amazing donations that came from so many different spaces and places at this university. So thank you. That's where Team Hope will be. The third, Team Justice, reflects our mission to expand opportunity. In partnership with our career development services and also pre-college was able to step in and help us. We are putting together STEAM kits for our local neighboring students, which is phenomenal. Team Peace, the next team, affirms our conviction in the power of nonviolence and rational discourse to drive change. It would be remiss if you did not see just a moment of the documentary that we saw just now, talking about Harriet Tubman Square. It is just as much a part of our community. So we are excited to be able to clean up and go out and be able to give back to our city of Newark. And last but definitely not least, Team Beloved, our Team Beloved community will encapsulate our vision of unity beyond divisions of race, background, and viewpoint. So we've had folks all throughout the university, the campus, who put together coats, gently used and new. So we will be giving to our neighbors in our community of Newark. So with that, without delaying any further, I will bring another one of my comrades in this project, Dr. Vivian Lanzo, who will give you a little bit more instruction on some of our next steps. Thank you so much. And I want that energy in the room when we get working. So let's serve. God bless and thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela. Everybody, come on, we're about to do service. I am so excited about service. I wanted to take one moment to certainly thank David and Angela for inviting the Career Development Center and Community and Public Service to collaborate. Last year, our Highlanders contributed 67,000 hours of community service to the community. So this year, I want us to get so excited over this legacy of Dr. King to serve that we want to up that number. So eventually we will challenge a new number. So let's continue to serve and let's do this. Let's get this party started. I also wanted to, part of the MLK committee was to get a grant from Engage New Jersey. And so wanted to thank Engage New Jersey, and also one of our corporate partners is here to assist and contribute. Chris Bliss from Crestron. So I wanted to acknowledge them as well. All right, so let's go. So if you are going out, right? So we are really so pleased that there were people who wanted to leave campus. And so we have community partners, and that is, for the first one is Team Peace. And to join this service activity, you're going to be doing a cleanup around Tubman Square, Harriet Tubman Square, the historic James Street, and back to MLK. So if you are, where's Team Peace? I think that was table 9. Oh, you guys have to get more excited. You're getting ready to go outside. I want some energy. So you're going to meet the officers standing over here to my right. So if you guys can go there, and there's some equipment that we're going to give to you. So if you can make your way out there, And then we have leaving to, for Team Liberty, which is serving our senior citizens. And we are going to teach them how to use their phones, how to use computers, whether it is turning it on, turning it off, things that we take for granted, but our seniors need help with, right? So we are over here. I love it. We are going to, there is a driver, and we are going to meet on this end as well. So we appreciate all those that will be leaving the campus, and you will be, for Team Peace, you will be coming back via van as well. So we have Team Justice, who's going to be led by my colleague Lavelle, Dr. Burr Alexander, and myself, and we're going to put together STEM kits, 100 STEM kits to be donated to one of our Newark schools. We have Team Beloved that is going to meet at that white table, and that's sorting out coats. You have kids and adult coats, and that will be led by Lucy and Nadira here. Oh, she's there already. Yep. And Nadira from the Career Center. And are you? No? Okay. And then we have Team Hope that Dr. Garrettson said we will be meeting in the back. We will be meeting in the back where those numbers are, and you're going to be sorting and putting together 100 kits, adult care kits. And so that team will be led by Dr. Garrettson, and Robin, Dr. Jones, and Dr. Wesley. Awesome. And RJ. All right, so that is going to be towards the back. I do not believe, I think that covers all the teams. If you are in these front tables here, if you could just discard what you're not using, because we may be needing these tables to kind of sort out all the projects. And we look forward to seeing all the happy faces. If you can, take a picture here and there and share with the hashtag NJIT MLK Day 2024. Thank you, and thank you for being here. Let's get the energy up.